Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me. Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. Has Nitish Kumar's behaviour brought into focus a sad and sorry truth about Indian politics? That's the key issue I shall explore today with one of India's former senior cabinet ministers, former law and HRD minister, and now a leading expert on constitutional matters in the Supreme Court, Kapil Sibal. Mr. Sibal, what was the thought that crossed your mind when you first heard that Nitish Kumar has changed political allies yet again and returned to the BJP and Narendra Modi's embrace?
What can I say? I mean, it's an absolute farce. The first thought that came to my mind is this the country that I'm living in, which talks about Ram Raj, which talks about India being the father of democracy? And we are playing out this farce every day, day in and day out. Is this the Ram Rajya that we have embraced, where we change alliances without a thought, where we change partners without a thought, where we swear that we will never change sides and we change sides, where you say mar jana kabool hai lekin ab unke saath jana hame kabool nahi. And then this is in January 30, 2023, and on January 26, 2024, you change sides and you say anything can happen in politics. What kind of leaders do we have? What kind of politics are we witnessing in this country? That's the first thought that came to my mind.
Mr. Sibal, the truth is that since 2013, this is the fifth time Nitish Kumar has abruptly changed political allies. But if you add his break of 1994 with Lalu Yadav and the Janata Dal to form the Samta Party, it's actually the sixth time that he's done it in his political career. Even in those infamous Aya Ram Gaya Ram terms, do you think this makes him unique and sui generis?
No, absolutely. He is unique, but look at his partners. It also makes them unique and sui generis. While he may have changed sides 6 times, partners have accepted him having changed sides 6 times. And look at the nature of democracy in our country, that despite the fact that he has changed sides 6 times, yet he continued to be the chief minister, and this is the 9th time that he's being sworn in as chief minister. Therefore, we need to really reflect on the nature of our polity.
I'll come to the nature of our polity in a moment's time, because that is certainly a very big subject I want to explore with you. But first, let me pick up on that quotation that you cited. You were quoting what Nitish Kumar said on the 30th of January 2023, exactly a year ago. He said, and I'm quoting him, "Mar jana kabool hai, unke saath jana humko kabhi kabool nahi hai." And then he added, "Ye achhi tarah jaan lijiyega." Does this suggest that he's not a man of his word, but an opportunist who puts survival ahead of everything else?
Absolutely. I mean, opportunist, not just an opportunist, a man who really doesn't care of anything else except his own chair, who's willing to barter morality, barter principles just to remain in power. I mean, this is the worst form of politics that I have seen. And look at what Amit Shah said. Amit Shah said that his doors are closed forever. We will never accept him after this. What about that kind of politics? I mean, I don't see how leaders will talk about democracy and go to Ayodhya and talk about Ram Rajya, how they behave immediately afterwards. People of India should realize that we're not dealing with good people. We're dealing with people who don't really care about the people of India, who really don't care about principles, who don't care about any form of politics which is people oriented. It's only about how can I remain in my chair for as long as I can.
Let me quote what Amit Shah said. It was on the 25th of February last year, literally
Yeah.
26 days after Nitish Kumar's infamous quotation. Amit Shah was
Right.
asked about whether the BJP would ally with Nitish Kumar again, and this was his answer according to the Hindu newspaper. Enough of Aya Ram Gaya Ram. BJP's
Right.
doors are closed forever for Nitish Kumar.
Yes.
Less than a
Yes.
year later, he's not only opened those doors wide, but he's proven that he's no better and no different to Nitish Kumar.
Absolutely. And then he said something more than that. He said Nitish Kumar has become Avsarwadi from being Vikaswadi. Right? In other words, he's an opportunist instead of having a pro-development thought process. Now that Avsarwadi, he has embraced. So Amit Shah himself embraced opportunism, having condemned opportunism. So what kind of politics is Amit Shah following?
Absolutely. Let me go back to Nitish Kumar's trajectory. In 2013, he broke with the BJP after Narendra Modi was appointed chairman of the BJP's Lok Sabha election campaign committee because, as he said publicly at the time, he did not want to be associated with communal politics.
That's right.
Today, he's once again allying with the BJP when it's clearly a far more communal party than it was in 2013. And just days after, the consecration of the Ram Mandir has arguably saffronized the mood of Indian politics. What does that tell you about Nitish Kumar's principles and ideology? He breaks when it's not so communal a party, he rejoins when it's far more overtly communal.
Oh, I entirely agree. And in fact, he will ride with communalism when he can to retain his chair, and he'll oppose communalism when he can to retain his chair. That's why he went to John. See, look, whatever you may say about Lalu Prasad Yadav, he's always stood against communalism. That is, in fact, a legacy that Lalu Yadav will leave behind. He always fought the forces of communalism, right? Now, the fact of the matter is that he now sat in the lap of Lalu, and joined up forces with Lalu because he wanted to retain his chair. And remember, he did very badly in the last election. He got much less seats than even the RJD and the BJP. In fact, RJD was the largest party. Now he was willing to go with Lalu because he knew he could retain his chair. Now he realized that, look, in the next election, if he somehow fights the next election, he may lose even further. So it's better to go with the BJP than to stay with Lalu. That's his politics.
So, in other words, his sole motivation is how can I better my own personal chances? Ideology, principles, and beliefs don't matter. Is that what you're suggesting?
Absolutely. He has no principles, no beliefs. The only belief he has is how to retain my chair. And he'll do anything for that. And then a man who can in the assembly make a speech that makes me wince as to how any politician, especially a chief minister, can talk about women in that fashion. And Amit Shah criticized that. The prime minister criticized it when he made that speech, and now they're embracing him. On what basis can they embrace him? With what courage can they accept him?
And remember, Mr. Sibal, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is one of the great slogans that Mr. Modi has given to Indian politics.
Exactly.
He was praised for it when he did it, but Nitish now joining him is undermining the credibility of that slogan itself.
Correct. Absolutely.
Tell me, do you have any sense of how the people of Bihar will view this revolving U-turn series that we've seen over the last 10 years? You've been, when you first joined Parliament, a Bihar Rajya Sabha MP. Given that Nitish Kumar has done it 6 times and won several elections in between, continuing as Chief Minister for almost 18 years, does that suggest that the people of Bihar are unconcerned by his behavior?
No, I think this is the death knell of Nitish Kumar as a politician in Bihar. I personally think this is and it also is reflected by the fact that in the last elections, he got very seats in, I think, 43 seats in the assembly or something like that. So I think this is his last leg. What he is now relying upon is backward vote. See, it's like this. The politics of Bihar is BJP can't go it alone. If BJP goes alone, they will lose badly. So BJP can't do it alone. They need the Kurmi vote. They need the backward vote. Nitish feels that he can't join Lalu because Lalu will emerge as the strongest party and he'll lose his chief ministership. So therefore, there's no point in continuing with Lalu. So it's better to join the bandwagon with the BJP and hope that with the kind of communal politics there is and the backward vote that he has, maybe he'll be able to form the next government. And the BJP will have no choice except to make him the chief minister again.
Let me at this point, Mr. Sibal, put to you the nature of defense that Nitish Kumar might make on his own behalf. He could say that the India alliance is falling apart in Bengal and Punjab, and Congress is clearly more concerned about its yatra than the alliance. Therefore, he could argue he had no choice left but to secure his own and his party's future by allying with the BJP. In other words, it's not that he's defecting, but that the India alliance is fragmenting. He has to therefore find a way of surviving because the India alliance, which he had created or helped create, is now falling apart, and it's not his fault, it's the Congress's fault. How do you respond to that defense?
But therefore, the cat is out of the bag. He himself says he wants to survive, and it is for his survival that he is doing this. Then what about politics and principles of politics? What about anti-communalism? What about all those factors? He's not saying any of that. Now, see, look, there are a lot of battles that we fight, not necessarily that we will win, because we base our politics on principles. And I give great I have great regard for Ladu on that count. There may be other things against him, but he has stood by his principles. Now, they may well not win the election, but the fact of the matter is that he's doing it only for himself. And this emerges from the statement that you read out, that the India alliance was not doing too well. And remember, Tyagi, his lieutenant, has made a statement to the effect that he wanted to be the leader, the convener of the alliance. And because Mamta suggested Kharge's name, therefore he was disenchanted with the alliance. That's what Mr. Tyagi said, KC Tyagi said, who is exceptionally close to him, as you know. So therefore, he wanted to be the leader of the alliance. He was not acceptable as a leader of the alliance. And he thought maybe it's better then to go to the BJP. So this whole excuse, because the India alliance was not doing well, he did nothing to ensure that the India alliance did well. He took no major steps to do that. So therefore, this itself is an excuse only for opportunistic politics and nothing more than that.
I suppose Nitish Kumar's other defense could be that his party has stood by him every time he switched allies. Does that not mean that he is himself a very significant force in Bihar politics and that other parties need him as much as he needs them? Therefore, he's not simply switching sides, he's a force to be reckoned with, and he's ensuring that those he represents have a say in the politics of Bihar adequate to their size and their strength.
Then how did he get the least number of seats amongst the allies? The BJP got 79 seats, the RJD got 78 seats, the RJD got 79 seats, and he got about 43 seats. So if he was so popular, then why would the people of Bihar reject him in this fashion? So obviously he knows he's not popular, he knows he's going down, but he's somehow going to hang on the coattails of the BJP, hoping that this saffron wave will also impact Bihar, and he might well sail through along with the BJP, given that the fact that the Kurmi vote, the backward vote is with him.
So you're saying to me that there's no defense that works for Nitish Kumar. He is an opportunist, devoid of any belief in principles, devoid of any commitment to ideology. He simply seeks to further his own personal interest.
Yeah, and this is the death knell. This is the last time that he'll be a relevant factor in Bihar politics of Bihar.
Let's at this point, Mr. Sibal, widen our discussion a little. What does this reveal of the character of Indian politics? And perhaps more importantly, what does this reveal of the character of our democracy? This sort of opportunistic and repeated changing of allies would be unacceptable in any major Western democracy. But as we've seen, it happens all the time in India. It happened in Karnataka, it happened in Madhya Pradesh, it happened in Arunachal Pradesh, just to name those three. How do you explain that difference between a country that Mr. Modi proudly calls the mother of democracy and all the other great Western democracies that we aspire to be like?
Well, all that I can say, Karan, is that democracy ends after election takes place in India. The only element of democracy that is that to the extent that we can call India a democracy is the fact that there's an election. After that, there is no element of any democratic process that goes on in this country, both in terms of politics and in terms of institutional preservations. See, Mr. Modi has, ever since he came to power, if this were a democracy, he would not have decimated institutions in this country. And I am talking about all institutions in this country. He would not, if this India was a democracy, he would not be going as the high priest to Ayodhya and symbolizing Ram with his own personality. This would not happen in a democracy. Elected governments would not be thrown out in a democracy by enticing people, by persuading people for means fair or by means fair or foul to bring down elected governments. That can never happen in a democracy. Election commissions can't be controlled in any other democracy. Should not be controlled. He controls the election. He controls every institution in this country, and he's trying very hard to try and control the court as well. I have never seen this in any other democratic nation in the world. And in more than that, the very institution of the chairman or the speaker of assemblies or of the house here, who take a partisan attitude when dealing with disqualification petitions, itself suggests to you that what we are living in a polity is an absolute farce. There is no democracy in this country. Democracy is only in the name, and that you have an election, and even the electoral process is not democratic. That's something that
You've muted yourself. You've muted yourself, Mr. Sibal. You've muted yourself.
In this country is not. Even the electoral process in this country is not democratic, because the way in which the electoral roll, the names in the electoral rolls are cancelled, the way in which in the last 1 hour thousands of votes are polled in a booth or hundreds of votes are polled in a booth, the way people are not allowed to come out of their houses to vote by taking aid of the police and of the enforcement machinery. What kind of electoral process is that? The way the Election Commission allows the ruling party to say what it likes and issues notices against the opposition leaders. What kind of democracy are we living in? What are we talking about?
Let me ask you this. What does this tell us, not about our politics and our democracy? This time I'm asking, what does it tell us about the nature of our voters and how they view our politicians? Not only have they, at least up till now, accepted what Nitish Kumar has done every single time he's done it, but they've repeatedly rewarded him by, in some shape or form, re-electing him. So what does this tell us about the way voters view politicians in India?
Well, that also tells you that the Indian democracy has not evolved. That in many states in India is just based on caste politics. That the ability to align different castes to ensure that you get the numbers in the assembly, that's the basis of our politics in many states. And therefore, it militates against the very concept of democracy, because in democracy, you vote for who is going to administer the country better or the state better. But here, you vote for the caste leader. And that sort of, fundamentally is anti-democratic.
So you're saying that ours is a very imperfect democracy. Once elections are over, we cease to be democratic in our functioning. But even when elections are happening, they often happen not in terms of the individual or his or her party's beliefs, but in terms of caste affiliations instead.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no ideology involved in politics today. And I would say any party, in most parties.
So Nitish Kumar has brought out the worst in Indian democracy and the worst in Indian politics.
Yes, he must get a gold medal for that.
Where does this leave the India alliance? Nitish Kumar is not only the first big major blow, but in the background of what Mamta has done when she's refused to do a seat sharing alliance with Congress, and in the background of Man refusing to do one in Punjab, where does this leave the India alliance? Does it have a future?
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on that. Let's talk of Bihar first, and then I'll come to Punjab and I'll come to West Bengal. If you talk of Bihar, the fact of the matter is that Nitish is not a relevant factor outside of Bihar. He's only relevant as far as Bihar is concerned. And in Bihar, I think the move that he has made is going to strengthen RJD in a big way. So quite frankly, this move is going to boomerang on him. So it doesn't impact the India alliance at all, because the other parties, including the Congress and the other communists and the other parties, will fully support. And I'm not even sure whether Paswan is going to support Nitish. But the fact of the matter is that in Bihar, this is good for the RJD. Outside of Bihar, Nitish is not a force. So it doesn't impact the alliance. So that's about Bihar. When you talk about West Bengal, basically Mamta is the dominant factor in West Bengal. And even if the Congress were to fight in certain seats, I mean, I don't think that the Congress is expected to win very many seats. It may impact 1 or 2 or 3 seats in West Bengal, not otherwise, because Mamta is the dominant force. So it doesn't make a big difference to the alliance as far as West Bengal is concerned. When you come to Punjab, the two parties which are the dominant parties in Punjab are the Congress party and the Aam Aadmi party. Now, they are both part of the alliance. So whoever wins, even if they fight against each other, that benefits the alliance. So therefore, Punjab is not an issue. So by and large, from the point of view of electoral politics, is not going to make much difference. But in terms of perceptions, it makes a difference. That people say, look, they talked about a large alliance to fight the BJP, and now they are quibbling and fighting with each other, and they can't even come to terms about seat sharing. What confidence can we have on this alliance? To that extent, yes, that perception has been hurt.
Perceptions matter an awful lot in politics. An adverse perception could put people off. Is this likely to put people off the India bloc?
Well, unless the India bloc sort of comes forward now and shows, vision to come together and put this behind them and move forward together. Otherwise, it will hurt them.
Are you absolutely sure about the earlier point you made that this could boomerang against Nitish Kumar in Bihar? Most analysts are fairly certain that this will tilt the balance fairly sizably in favor of the new NDA alliance that he's helped create.
I don't think so. Maybe in the Lok Sabha, it is possible, but not in the assembly elections.
But the Lok Sabha elections are the ones that are happening in just over 2 months' time.
Yeah, maybe to some extent it will help, but I'm not too sure about that either, because it all depends on how Tejasvi and Lalu Yadav ji is able to use this unprincipled form of politics to their advantage. And I think that they are smart enough to do that.
In which case, my last question, and it's to do with the perception that most people have formed in their minds in the last 24 hours, that this forthcoming election is increasingly looking like an easy and straightforward victory for Modi and the BJP. Are you saying to me, particularly when I hear and bear in mind what you said about Bihar, that may not be the case?
That may not be the case. And remember, even 1 hour in politics is long. You're talking about the last 24 hours. We've got 3 months left. Not to worry.
So you're saying all is not lost for India and about the India alliance?
Yeah, all is never lost for India, but certainly all is not lost for the alliance.
You genuinely mean that this is not now a slam dunk for Narendra Modi and the BJP?
No. Not at all. As long as we can sort out some of the other issues, which of course we can talk about at another time.
You're confident that those words of yours, that confidence of yours won't bite you back one day when the results come out?
maybe, but maybe not.
Kapil Sibal, thank you very much for making time for me. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Program The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.